The Russian invasion attempt on the territory of Ukraine began on February 24 and is still ongoing. Since the first days of the war, radical changes and serious losses have taken place in both countries. Because of this war in Russia, many ministers, many officials were removed from their positions, some were fired. The reason for this is the failures that Russia has experienced. Putin punished many people after the failures he experienced in the attacks. Many Russian commanders joined the war because they were afraid of Putin. However, in recent weeks, Putin's competence in the army has gradually decreased. Rumors began among many soldiers. December. They announced that they did not want to continue the war. Many Russian citizens are affected by the pressures and sanctions imposed on Russia, and they are experiencing difficulties because of this situation. Many global companies have withdrawn their investments from Russia. When Russia loses its natural gas and oil power, which is its last trump card, it will have no say in the world. Putin has made himself and his country enemies on earth. Many citizens complain about this situation. Leader Zelensky, on the other hand, made him feel that he had always been with his country, its soldiers and citizens since the first day of the war. The greatest courage and perseverance of the soldiers in the war came from leader Zelensky. He made me feel that he was always there for his soldiers and that he was thinking of their lives. He even took the decision to cancel the operations where the lives of his soldiers would be at risk by taking a hand to the military when necessary. The heroic army of leader Zelensky continues its intensive operations in Kakhovka, while in recent days it has increased pressure on the Russian army in Mariupol and Kherson, inflicting back-to-back defeats. The Ukrainian army has made incredible progress in every region of the country, especially in the areas it lost in the first months of the war, and has regained dominance in the eastern region, where there were hot clashes. Only 48 settlements have been recaptured from the Russian army in the last week. In addition, dozens of Russian ammunition depots, as well as more than 10 Russian headquarters, were rendered unusable. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry carried out dozens of air operations on Russian fronts this week, while HIMARS missiles and multiple rocket launchers from the United States supported them from the ground. In addition, the Russian army tried to try offensive attempts. After the Kramatorsk region, it also made some attacks in the Bakhmut region, but the experienced Ukrainian army repulsed these attempts. Although the Russian army has not achieved military success for a long time, including the Ukrainian army, we predict that these attacks will not end soon, but we think that this war will not last much longer, because Russia will not have the military strength to last so long. Even now, some of the Russian soldiers are starting an uprising within the army, saying that we don't want to fight. Putin stated that he was very clear about this in the latest combat report shared by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. The success of the armed forces of Ukraine in the operations carried out in the Lysychansk region under the occupation of Russia is seen by the whole world. But with the launch of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the Ukrainian army has gained a lot of experience in combat and in fighting the Russian army, and has improved its operational capabilities and tactics in the region. We witnessed that Ukraine, which was in a defensive position in the first months of the war, carried out operations even on the borders of Russia in the later months of the war. By starting this war, Russia wrote its greatest failure in history, and everyone knows that Russia cannot become the old Russia and be in its former strength after this war. After this war, Ukraine will now become a bigger and stronger country. During this war, Ukraine formed its own special teams and battalions of special soldiers. The Cobra Battalion is known as the best of these troops. This battalion is also known as the Delta Force Team in the USA. At the same time, the Special Military Assault Team of Ukraine, the STL Battalion, also carried out extremely critical operations. In addition, the Cobra team's shared video recently shows the strength of the Ukrainian army. It appears to have neutralized the Russian army in the occupied Lysychansk region. The video shared on the Telegram channel shows the special team jumping out of the plane and landing in the area, and then approaching the Russian soldiers, following them and waiting for them to open up. We then see them making preparations in the forest. The Cobra team's operation and the video showing the Russian unit rendering its equipment unusable together appear to neutralize the Russian soldiers. The Ukrainian Cobra team does not use heavy weapons, but they quietly and unnoticed go after the enemy, and a special team that does not search for films, and they carry out extremely successful operations. They are experts in critical operations and infiltration training. In addition, the majority of its operations are to capture high-ranking commanders and key units in the Russian army. The Cobra team captured the Russian commanders after a successful operation. The Russian army also experienced this during the Chechen War. We also know that Chechen fighters are present on the territory of Ukraine in the name of supporting the war. Speaking to condemn the Russian military, which recently launched an airstrike on a nuclear power plant in Ukraine and put all humanity living on the continent at risk, the chairman of the Ukrainian Nuclear Power Plants Committee Dmytro Lubinets said that this is the most brutal and thoughtless attack on humanity since the beginning of the war. He called Russia's attack on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant a nuclear terrorism. Lubinets said that according to the rules of war and international norms, attacks on a nuclear power plant and similar ultra-risk sites are called an act of nuclear terrorism. He said the attacks on the nuclear power plant carried risks that could lead to radioactive leaks and put all humanity at risk. Lubinets said that the area was surrounded and under control, and controls were being provided to ensure that there were no leaks. He stressed that Putin should be punished for war crimes even under normal circumstances when this war is over, but he should receive a severe punishment, especially considering this nuclear attack. The U.S. Department of Defense announced yesterday that it will provide another new support to Ukraine. The October weapons and security package announced by the Pentagon is $1 billion, he explained. In the beginning of the war that the Pentagon will send aid package which will be sent to the citizens of Ukraine, and this is the first time that Russian cruise missiles destroy that target the areas where she needed to live. The NASAM system is explained. This system is a U.S.-Norwegian National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System. This weapon will be sent for the first time since the beginning of the war and will greatly reduce the risk in order to reduce the risk in the course of the war and in the areas where citizens live. In addition to this weapon, there are also HIMARS missiles and October ammunition such as bullets, artillery shells and hundreds of At-4 armor weapons.